how do you set your school up for success while this is happening? So I'm super excited for that and to see how you guys can get yourself there. Now you might be like, digital consultants, who are you guys and how can we get to talk about this? So I want to just quickly tell you, we are Christian School Marketing. Our focus is your school to make sure that your powerful message, your faith-based, your mission is shown professionally. And these are some of the things, the ways that we do that. Some of the people that we have connected with and who, this is just a handful of our clients, we have a lot more obviously, but who have seen the value of messaging and making sure we take a mission-driven approach to marketing. What does that look like? These are some of our clients based on that as well. Okay. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about what are the top marketing strategies for 2026. What does that look like? How to attract the right families. And then also one of the key things that I have want to make sure is that you guys future-proof your enrollment strategy to make sure that, you know, if you're already getting good enrollment, awesome. How do you keep that going? Making sure your, you know, retention is staying solid as well. And then there is a good fallback of plan coming through, flow of enrollments inquiries coming through as we're moving to 2026. And the new rules for marketing in a trusted recession world. Like trust is very rare right now, especially online. How does marketing work? What are the new rules that are coming up for that? And then we're going to ask some questions at the same time, as well as we're going to talk about, what are you particularly at a school, how can you implement the things that we're going to talk about? So we do have a complete marketing toolkits for you guys, like a checklist, so you can go through and say, hey, you know what, give it to your marketing team, or you are the marketing team, take it and say, okay, done. For a website, we have done this. For enrollment, we have done this. For admission, we have done this. So we did a complete checklist for you. So we'll share that with you at the end as well. And then once I close all of this at the, I will give you a special offer for anybody who has registered and is here right now, because we want to make sure you're ready for the new school year and you look professional as possible. So thank you again for joining us. And if you're as you're joining right now, thank you for what you're doing for Christian education. You're making eternal changes in the kingdom of God. So thank you for that. AI is changing how parents search. AI is changing overall how anybody searches. But I know for you, your goal is that how are parents or the people who are looking at your school, how are their behavior of changes changing? How are they searching and how does that change? So one of the key things we want to look at is that parents search. Parents are no longer just Googling, as you probably know, and you might already do this yourself as well. You probably use ChatGPT and Google combined combo when you're searching. Parents get a school information before visiting their website. So they're actually looking you up and kind of already making their conclusion before even they step into your school. This is not how it was in the 90s or early 2000s. Right now, this is the trend of parents, is that before even they walk into school, they have probably already made up their mind. Am I going to bring my child there based on your online presence, right? So this is why it's so crucial that I'm working with schools and we're trying to educate them and bring them, walk along their side to make sure that you look professional, you look trusted, and that you are invested in him. Right. And that your content must answer questions clearly. And SEO now rewards helpful human-centered content. So before we go to the next part, I want to kind of, if you can put it in the chat or just hands up through through the emoji, can you show me if you currently, if you do use a Google and a ChatGPT for your search? Do you use that? Can you put thumbs up if you do that today? Okay, perfect. See, I have one person who's doing that already. Okay. And then can you put a thumbs up on the emoji, is that if you only use Google right now. If you only rely on Google, then put thumbs up if only you use Google. Just curious on where people are. Okay, perfect. Gosh, awesome. Thank you guys. Just because I'm trying to understand as a school, where are we? Because sometimes what we do on a regular basis, we just imagine that the parents are doing the same thing. So we want to make sure that we get the right audience. We know what our parents are doing so that we can be able to help them accordingly. Okay. So AI is becoming the new search engine, right? Slowly, that's a trend that's happening right now. So in about year, probably middle of 2026, you know what? Don't be surprised if the number does change. And I'm going to give you some stats on what AI is looking like, and then you'll be able to kind of see what how do you navigate that. Okay. So it's very crucial that you understand where AI is and what the stats are. So here's quick information for you guys. 77% of US people do use ChatGPTs to search something. 24% go to ChatGPT before they go to Google. Isn't that crazy? I wouldn't have not thought that. Because remember last year or early last year, 2024, 94% of the people go to Google to do to do their search, right? And now we have shifted where 24% actually will prefer going to ChatGPT before they're going to Google. See the mindset change? Gen Z's leads with a 28% chat search before Google. 30% response to trust that chat more than Google. So the trust level is still low, which we're going to talk about, as I said in the agenda. And 36% discover a new brand, product, and organization through ChatGPT or AI. Okay, and I broke it down by generation for you guys. 47% of marketers use ChatGPT for marketing, and a 60%, which is two out of three, plan to increase AI in their chat, in their marketing, and in their content creation, which is shouldn't be too much of a surprise to you guys, right? So what does that mean to you? You're a school. How does these data change your world? Okay. So parents aren't just Googling anymore. They are asking AI questions like this. So they will look for advising or, consulting questions like, what are the best Christian schools near me? What is the difference between private Christian education and public schools? Right? Which school has the most trusted reputation? What is this what is a safe school with good values for my child? Now, what happens when this goes in? And we talked about it in the last month. If you guys don't have it, please go onto the YouTube and search or look up on Christian School Marketing. If you just Google that, you will see us come up, and then you will see the website traffic. What does that look like? And we talked a lot about indexing. That's what how Google works. Now is time we spend a little bit of time. How does AI work, right? AI looks at this and looks at all these keywords and says, okay, what kind of interaction contents are out there on the website? And then they look at exactly these big phrases, and then they spit out, okay, you know what? Faith School has this. King School has this, and Believers Academic School has this, and they summarize it for you and say, based on these are the schools in the radius of 10 miles in your home area, these are the schools and these are the values, right? And or they're, what, denomination wise, this is the denomination they change, they are around. This is really changes about how families discover your schools. It's very different from what you're used to, probably, right? So this is why it's more and more important. Your messaging on your website is very important. So I want to kind of give you a rundown of back-to-back idea of how does Google search work, how does ChatGPT or AI search work? Because I'm using ChatGPT, but there's other open AI stuff that you can use as well. I'm sure that you're familiar with, like Microsoft has their own version, Google has their own version as well. Okay, so it Google does is it matches keywords to website pages. So it goes and takes this keyword, goes into the database, looks at the indexing and says, okay, this website, I'm going to score 90%. So this is the website I want to show, and just goes and it scrolls through links and pages, right? That's how Google shows it. And then it's prioritizes based on your optimization, your keywords, your backlinks, and authority. If you don't know anything of what I'm talking about here, please go to that webinar YouTube link from last month, and you can get more familiarity what that looks like. They look for quick facts, locations, and maps kind of searching, right? Versus ChatGPT, it says it understands the question's intent and gives a summary of the answer, right? That is why ChatGPT is doing well as it is because it's really programmed and invested in what is she looking for, and am I giving her the right answer, what she not just not list a website where she needs to go find this information on the list of website. And it gets a personalized answer instantly. Jen Paul, here's your answer, XYZ. It's almost like I'm having a personal assistant walking along me all the way through, right? So clarity helpfulness, accuracy, and strong messaging, like I said, is very high priority in order for you to come up on the AI search, right? So deeper search compares and then compare deeper questions, comparison, and recommendations are really very what's going to keep you standing apart. So examples, we just talk about Christian school near me, and then you want to optimize for Google, you would probably search near, restaurant near me, Christian school near me, and then the website based on the SEO, the Google Business My Profile based on your reviews, you will come up XYZ, right? Versus versus the comparison to the AI, clear messaging and helpful blogs and trustworthy onlines are what's going to help you do that. And parents might search, which school are best for character development in XYZ my area, in the Miami area, or in the Tosla area, right? So then you will have to look. That's how AI is going to search and say, okay, this is specifically talking about this personalization. Let me put this result in and draft up the answer, right? And like I said, Google would be type list of links, and then its keyword content style is more keyword needed, right? Versus here in AI and the chat GPT and stuff, they would have explanation, recommendation action, links, and content style needed for high quality conversion and fair first content. Now, I know most of you, I might not be able to get you to buy in about sometimes AI, but I'm telling you, if we don't put good content out there and we just only, and the good people like you guys are staying out of AI, then the wrong content is going to go in there, and then people are going to get the wrong information, which is what I would say. Now you'll be like, okay, Jen, that's awesome. This is a lot to kind of, revamp our website and look at the content and messaging. And, that's a heavy lifting. I totally agree as well, which, I do have an offer for you guys where we can help you with that. So stay in tune for that. Now you might be like, okay, when do I know they're going to use Google versus Chat GPT? And some of the things that I'm going to just quickly go through is that location-based searches, quick facts, like they want to know kind of like, what's the tuition, what's the home at, what's the address of the school. I want to just call them, and they're looking for hours of operation, looking at maps and direction reviews. They will go to Google. They'll go to chat more when they're doing comparison, right? Okay, comparing between this and this, understanding the values of the school. What is the school kind of getting to it, and how are they getting that? you know, Getting recommendations, searching pros and cons, learning what matters when choosing a school, asking, as we talked about earlier, deeper questions, right? How do you disciple your children, your students between 8:30 to 2 o'clock when they're in your school? You know, uh, Parents might not. They might be like, okay, show me this ABC school. Which school is actually focused on discipleship? Which school is actually shows about good sports program? So they're actually going to do that kind of search in AI. If they're not doing it already, they're soon going to do that. I'm guaranteeing you that. So how can your school be found in ChatGPT? Searches, how can they appear in AI answers? Here are, if you are not taking notes, here's good time to take notes. It is to make sure you publish clear, helpful articles. Q&A answers are very important, right? So like FAQs, or one of the key things that we have always written blogs for our clients, and we at least try to create one blog a month so that we can kind of keep getting refreshed content out there for the website. So show up consistently online with parent first content, right? Like, are you having a hard time discipling your children? Did you know these are the 5 Bible verses that would help them show how to live a godly lifestyle? Or here's 5 ways to pray with your children. Like, really thinking about your parents. Well, how can you serve them? And then having strong messages so AI can summarize easily. So if you put and then you probably like, okay, Jen, you're conflicting with what you said last time, where you want to make sure your content is scannable. I still think your content needs to be scannable. It's where you use your contents, where AI can grab it in your website. And it's a strategic on that, which I can run through that with you guys when I look at your website as well. Build online trust signals, right? Like, you want to make sure, remember, we're going to talk about later too, but the trust is very low. So how can you right away build credibility and trust online? What kind of content can you put in? And then make it easy for AI to recommend your school, that it clearly communicates your value, that it sounds like you, right? That they don't need to talk to you to understand your value, but they can actually come into your website and really understand what that looks like. And then ways to improve your searchability, visibility on there is to create answer-based blog posts. So it's like how choose a school in your city, and you put your city name in, right? A parent testimonial, walk through a parent's life, a journey in your school. What does that look like? Google optimization still is a key one that AI is using. So, Google My Profile. If you don't know how to set up your Google My Profile, please reach out to me. We also have a blogs on that. We might even have a video on that as well. But that is crucial because AI obviously trusts Google sometimes before even trusting your website, especially if your website's outdated. Right. So use short, helpful explainer video as well, because videos are also now scannable. Before, images and videos were not scannable. Now, thanks to AI and the technology that we have, it scans video contents as well. And then um, clear messaging, publish clear statements on values, academics, and spiritual development. Keep messaging simple and scannable, or skimmable, and conversational. Make sure that you know what the burning questions your parents are asking, and that you are communicating that in your email or in your content. And then the last one is ensure your website is clear, so that AI can again pull the information you want. Okay, we're going to go through, skim through these trends, the stuff that we talked about. I'm going to just emphasize a little bit more on what that looks like. Okay, so the number one trend, as I was talking about, human verified content becomes essential. Make sure remember, your parents are humans, not robotics. People are going into your website, right? People who are asking for real question, who want to know, hey, why is the school right for me? Why would I want to give? If you are fundraising, or if you're doing a gala, or if you're trying to, do a project, you want to know who are these audience, and why would they come and partner with us, and why would they want to give to our school so we can accomplish X, Y, Z. So it's very important. Parents will trust content who are human reviewed, created by your staffs, and authenticity is very important. That's what's going to win you for 2026. We talked a little bit about this, have a micro videos, right? Videos that are 10 to 30 seconds, so that Google can easily, sorry, AI can quickly, easily scan, or even Google can scan as well. Real classroom moments, real student voices, real stories about transformation. I know I was helping this one Bible college the last week, and I just walked in to talk about the client care team. When I met them, they just said right away, you know what, I was just on a call to somebody to see, if they received something, and right, they sounded very distressed. And when I said, hey, can I pray for you? It just lifted up their spirit. They can hear it in the voice, right? That's a transformation stories, right? And then when they prayed about it, they actually said, wow, I needed that. Thank you so much. They just changed somebody's life at that moment, right? So these are great ways to tell your story. Make it conversational. I know I mentioned this multiple parts. Hopefully I'm nailing this, is that make your website content conversational. People are be able to see the fake stuff, and they're like, oh, this is just a typical portrait section, right? But no, talk about the story, talk about why you exist, and be fully transparent with them. You know what? We love the next generation, and we want to raise them up in the way they need to go, right? So make the headlines clean with good value and hook, make the value statements clear, make the section scannable, is not convoluted with so much text and things. And then story brand styling. If you don't know what story brand is, please reach out to me, and I will send you a PDF that guides you on what that looks like. Add FAQs, or you can even go into our website, and there's lots of websites that we have done. We haven't put up all of them, but you'll be able to see what that looks like. Here's a quick example that I want to show you. Here's our recent website that we have just built. Easy scannable contents are, laid out where people can see the value of it, credibility statement. So you can see how, right away it catches people's attention. What are the 3 steps on how to engage with them and how to get onto the school? And if they're not sure, here's a lead magnet that gets them to still connect with them. These are crucial ways to understand how to do your website, and these are key components that you need to have. Okay, trend number 4. All right, everyone's okay? Awesome. Hyper personalization messaging is very important. So when you are sending out emails, make sure you are doing personalization. Make sure the custom emails are custom made, personalized to a tour reminder, and that interests are followed up. Okay. Next one is trend number 5. This is so crucial. If you're not doing this, I'm telling you, you're going to fall behind. You're going to burn out. You're going to have staffs that are burned out, and you don't want that. You want to make sure you have um, um, good automation that replaces manual follow-ups, manual works, right? Here's a quick video of what some of the emails that we do on a workflow, right? When somebody enrolls in a book a tour on our website, we wait and then we tag them, we segment them, we send them a thank you. Internally, we tell the admission team, hey, you got a new inquiry. And then externally, we send an email to them saying, thank you for booking a tour. And, and then we have a tour that confirms through text messages or through follow-up sequence emails. Here you can see that they'll get an email saying, hey, this is the value of Faith Academy. These are the reasons why we exist. And then 2 days later, they get information on, hey, here's a testimony of a parent who just had a great experience with us, and if you still haven't got a chance to book the tour yet, somebody will be able to get to you. Just click on here, or somebody can be able to follow. You send another internal trigger point to internally to your staff and say, hey, this person has opened up multiple of our emails. This person is interested. Call them up and see if you can book a tour, right? And then when you book the tour, you can send them a reminder. Hey guys, this is done. We'll see you in 1 hour, or see you tomorrow. And then 1 hour before, you can say, see you done. And today we sent that to you guys. I apologize. We got the reminder too early saying thank you for coming to the webinar. But we're working because the time changed. And thank you to Michael. He opened my eyes up on that. So we're going to have to adjust that. But those are easy ways so that you don't need to sit there and do it on your own. Okay. Okay, number 6 trend. What does that look like? Reputation matrix that leads to ranking. So SEO is not gone, it's still there, but but Google still uses that, and you still need to appear back, even though, like, remember I was telling you 24 or 26% of them going to chat, there is still a good number of people going in Google. And then AI is also using Google as their reputation to put your website out there. So you still need to do reviews. Now, on the note about review, I know Google has decided to take all reviews out of school. I apologize. Now, workaround is that some of you guys have schools where it's combined with churches. That means a category, you might have to say you're a religious organization, then you can put the reviews back in. But there's also some consequences for that. We can talk about that. You might be like, oh, that's okay. So those are some of the things that we could kind of work around with you guys. But I know if you have it as education, right now they won't be able to. There's no Google reviews for your school on Google My Business, which is very unfortunate because I know SEO uses Google's as number 1 way to get the ranking up there. But there's other ways we can optimize on Google My Business. And this is where I'm going to tell you, you need to book an audit with us. We can look at your school personally and then look at it. Hey, you know what? Hey guys, you guys need to identify this areas, and we can put that into Google My Business, create a post here so that Google My Business is constantly has refreshing ideas so that when they're searching, they know your stuff. So helpful contents, clear messaging, and parent stories, and SEO becomes trusted. So this is the 6th trend. So this is the last trend that I wanted to kind of cover. And then here is what you're going to use. If you need a marketing tool checklist, this is a very high impact checklist for every school that you need to make sure you guys are ready for the coming school year enrollment. So you can scan that QR code and use that, and then you should be able to download that marketing toolkit. It's I found it very useful. I know I do everything on my work with checklists. So it's easy when I have a checklist, I kind of know, and even my team does this as well. We know, okay, we're done this. It's time to go to this section. Okay, I created the post. I know my website has XYZ. Now let me move on to the next one. It's just so that your mind is not scattered, everyone. So I will highly recommend scan this QR code and download that PDF. It's fully free for you. It's we want to be a blessing to you guys. Okay, we're almost there, guys, and you can ask questions. If you have any questions, just put it in the chat, guys, and I will definitely have time to take it up at the end. And we're almost wrapping it up here. how to stop do what to stop doing in 2025, 2026. So what do you need to stop, and what is working, what's not working? Well, let's go about what worked in maybe 2025 but is not going to work in 2026. So maybe you should consider stopping that. Is random posting without a strategy. Just post, oh, you know what, I just want to keep my social media alive, which is great, but you're just making noise, but you're not being impactful, and you're wasting a lot of time, because creating posts is one of the things that takes the most of our time out, right? And then over reliance on flyers, be careful. I know we flyer a lot sometimes in schools, and we're spending a lot of money, thousands of dollars, and then we don't even know what the rate of return is. Long emails that parents won't read, parents constantly scanning. So even our weekly or monthly emails that we've designed for schools, we make sure they're scannable, that people can follow through the value. They can easily say, okay, these are the things that I need to grab, and this is my action item. Manual follow-up for every inquiry. This is probably the biggest one that I would say, make sure you guys fix this one, right? These manual follow-ups, something is going to get dropped in the flow, and then that parent is not going to get their touch base. And then that's the worst thing you can do for 20, as you're going into 2026, is that, you haven't automated these inquiries. And if you don't know how to automate them, this is where we come in. We will look at it, and we will give you some strategies, some ideas, and we'll do this for free, and then you can decide, oh, you want to do it with us or somebody else. We can even recommend some other companies as well that you can do with it as well. But automation is very crucial, the follow-ups on it. Okay. This is kind of almost like a pet peeve, like using outdated photos or generic messaging is the outdated photo, generic messaging. No, you guys, not, you need to change that. You need to make sure your messaging is personalized to your school. Okay. And now what is working? And obviously you probably knew what's working. It's the opposite of what we just talked about. It's a simple story-driven messaging, consistent short form videos, automated follow-up workflows, clear tour paths, like so the parents know right away when they come into their website, okay, when I click on book a tour, I know exactly what to X, what's my next step, and what I'm looking for. And then we also need to create current parents as their ambassadors. That's very crucial. Okay. So because that's crucial, I'm going to build that out. So a parent journey system, making sure the parent completely understands what is the journey on their school looks like, right? From interest to them enrolling, what does that look like? What are the stages your parents are going through, right? You want to make sure that these are the systems that you have in place to make sure that that journey from interest to enrollment goes well. Clear website paths, automated follow-ups, multiple touch points, stories and proofs. And when these all work together, your enrollment just becomes predictable, your giving becomes predictable, your goal to that fundraising event becomes predictable. Okay. I'm just going to put this up one more time so you guys have it. Please download this. I would highly recommend it so that you can follow through. What are the things you need to work on? And again, it is 6 things, so it might be a little bit overwhelming on the checklist, but you don't need to do all at once. Just choose one at a time and manage it through that way. Okay. So I know in this world right now, the next part is that trust is one of the key things that are rare. So we want to make sure that we're building trust in our communication. So you want to make sure you're showing behind the scene videos. These are the things that's going to really set you apart for 2026. You want to make sure that you have, teacher student voices, like they know when they come to this school, this is how the teacher's heart is at. This is what the students are getting at. And be a little bit transparent in your social media. Talk about some of the challenges, and then talk about how that became a victory after that. I was just listening to a message from a pastor the other day. He says, you know what, during distress God enlarges you. Right? And so talk about what learning came around that as you are going into challenging time, and how does that, what are the lessons learned from it, and how you're bringing that into the Christian education world, right? Show faith in your asking, just not statements, but we're showing that we're walking out in faith on what we believe in. How to stand out in the AI concentrated world. So you might be like, okay, this is very overwhelming because we have so much AI, so much content. How do I stay connected on that, right? So that's a very fair question. So I would say, think about that human behavior kind of questions. AI creates the content, so how make sure you stay authentic to what you want to. So AI is not going and making up its own conclusion, but AI is taking from your school, real people, real mission stuff that you can build a trust, right? Showing the transformation stories, and then bringing in the warmth that when AI does combine and spit out that answer to those parents, it really sounds like someone from your rep or your admission team will do that for them, right? Your biggest advantage for your 2026 is to make sure you're clear, you're simple, and a consistency. You know, one way to test that, I do this every time we build our new websites for our schools, is that we build a website and we go to somebody and say, hey, can you look at this website and say what is the benefit of the school existing? What do you think will parents will get in within 30 seconds or 20 seconds, right? So that the school shows that it communicates clearly, and that, you know, and then automation piece, the experience, overall experience being on that website or the social media is it's great. There's meaningful stories, and the engagement just starts, you know, flowing through. And then you're not sitting there and monitoring every tours. The tours looking at more like when they're coming in, they're already coming, they already know about you guys. They see that oh, you know, I know this program you have here, this sports does this. It's just easy. One of the key things that we do is that when they come into enrollment, when they click a book a tour, after they booked, we have a video of showing up of the teacher or the principal saying, thank you for booking a tour. This is why we exist, XYZ. And then he said, next, this is what you can expect next. It's just an easy way to communicate and keep the communication more flowing, easier. Okay, as we're wrapping this up, I want to kind of again emphasize this, that, you know, we do have pre-marketing audit for schools, particularly where we will look at your Google My Business, we will look at your messaging, and then we will give you some recommendation how to strengthen your messaging, your content, right? And we'll be able to identify, hey, here's a gap on your enrollment, or, you know, here's something that is you can automate. You probably don't want to do this manually because something's gonna get dropped, right? And we'll be able to build you at least a growth plan for 2026, and you can kind of take that and work with your team on that. So that's what we're hoping, that you know, for hopefully this is a blessing to you, that we'll be able to connect with you and go, you know, and be able to be a blessing to give you that marketing audit and then show you how this works. So feel free to connect with us.
I'm a product of Christ-centered schooling. I'm Madison from Digital Consultants, and as someone who grew up in Christian education, I want to share something from my heart. My teachers didn't just teach me subjects, they spoke life into me. They taught me based on the ultimate truth. They prayed with me and for me. They helped me shape who I am today. And I know that your school is doing that for the next generation right now. But here's the reality. Families today are searching online for a Christ-centered education. That's the very first place they look. And if they can't find your school online, or if your message isn't clear, they may never get to experience what God is doing inside your walls. That's why we created the Marketing Audit Review. It's not salesy, it's not complicated. It's a practical, no-fluff roadmap to help your school break the noise and get found by the families who are searching. Here's what you'll walk away with. Clear steps to optimize your online presence so parents discover your school first. Clarity on your God-given message and how to communicate it with confidence. A snapshot of your visibility on Google and why that matters for enrollment. Insights into your website traffic and simple ways to increase it. And a high-level strategy to help your school reach and even exceed your enrollment goals. Your mission is too important to stay hidden online. So if you want clarity, a plan, and a fresh perspective, our team would love to walk through this with you. Spots are limited because each audit is done personally. So book your marketing audit review now, and let's help your school shine in the way that God designed it to.